Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 11 of the KoppsCast right here at twitch.tv/bkops. As always, I'm your host, bkops. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Jordan, appreciate the lurk. Robbie, appreciate the lurk. And Yasha, good to see you. Welcome in. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome. We generally play RPGs here, sometimes a variety of other stuff. And here, every other Thursday, we do this little interview talk show podcast thing where we have different content creators on, different artists, musicians, streamers, YouTubers, you name it. We invite them on and just show them a little bit of love, some appreciation. So far, I've been having a lot of really good friends on so far, and this next guest is no exception. Really good buddy of mine. I've known him pretty much my entire life. And yeah, it's been really looking forward to this chat. I know he has too. Yeah. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone's week? How's everyone's Thursday? I always appreciate you tuning in to this special, very special stream we got going tonight. But yeah. Anyway, I guess we can, Deadpan, welcome in. I have been best known to have that effect on people. Good week so far? Hey, good to hear it, Yasha. And yeah, I've been good as well. You know, we're almost at the weekend. Nice short work week. Can't complain, my friend. But yeah, I guess we can bring out, shall we? He's, like I said, he's one of my oldest buddies. He is, of course, he's a very talented musician. Been playing drums a good majority of his life too. Jammed with him back in the day, but we'll get to that. But anyway, here's my good buddy from Death Before Dishonor. Here's Ben Hilton. Ben, what's up, dude?
What's going on, man? What's going on, everyone in the chat?
Welcome in, man. How's it going?
Doing good, man. About the same old, same old.
Yeah, just getting through these wild and crazy times, right?
Exactly, man. Just basically working now that no shows are going on with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, but we're doing what we can,
Mm-hmm. Deadpan, when are we supposed to start hardcore dancing? Hey, whenever you want to get your two-step on, right Deadpan, you can go for it. But yeah, man, it's just been insane times in the world, and thankful that you're seemingly in good health. You Jesse, the fam are all doing well. But yeah, how's everything just been in general? Just getting through these times. I don't know how it's affecting work for you and stuff, but I don't know if you want to get into that.
Work is steady. Luckily, I've got a job that even when I'm on tour, they always welcome me back. Woody's Tire Service. If you're ever in the Everett area, Everett, Boston, you need a tire replaced. Plug it, That's how you get a raise in this business. If you're ever in there, check out Woody's Tire Service.
Mm-hmm.
Fair prices.
Hell yeah.
But no, work is. It's steady, it's no complaints on there, luckily, but, other than that, just fucking taking it day by day. Yeah, we're lucky we got our health, and it seems like you do too, so that's good. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I'm sure most of the chat's sick of me going over this again and again, but, I've been fortunate that I have a job that I can work remote. I was working remote before all this started going down, and it's just basically just waiting it out now, and
right.
They've at my work they were doing the renovating, and everything's almost good to go. So just kind of seeing how that all plays out. But I don't know. But for the time being, I'm just happy that I can literally just roll out of bed and just go walk over to my computer and just get the day going. It's
Exactly.
That's the plus side of it, right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's it's crazy to think how if this was a couple decades ago, there'd be as screwed as people are right now with certain aspects. It would be a total shit show if we didn't have any of the technology we have nowadays. It's crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm. For sure, man. But yeah, so like I mentioned at the start of this, like this is a little talk show thing we do. We have different content creators, musicians, artists, what have you, and I mean, you're one of my oldest buddies, like I said, and you were definitely on the list of someone I wanted to just shoot the shit with, and I figured this would be fun, and you've been playing in Death Before Dishonor for a little while now, and I mean we'll get up to like you joining the band and stuff down the line, but I guess like to just as a little intro to or just backstory of how we met and stuff, because I was in 5th grade. It was like literally, I'm pretty sure it was the day that your family, your brother, you all like came down, like you literally just like moved to Rhode Island like that day, and met you guys because at our old elementary school they had like the listings of like what classroom you were in, like which homeroom you were in, basically like on the outside the building, like just paper listed, and we just happened to go there at the same time, and became best buddies with your brother, and and of course in turn became buddies with you too.
Dude, the rest was history. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it was a
crazy like strike of luck. It's not...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's just time's flown by ever since. Like I'm trying to, like, how old were we in 5th grade? I was 11, so.
I would have been.
I mean, almost like 20 years that I've known you guys.
Honestly, I think this summer was 20 years ago. I think we moved down summer 2000. I was 8 and I'm 28 now. I think it's been 28 years or 20 years now.
Dude, that's crazy.
Insane to think about.
Holy shit, man. And then just grew up together, and I mean I think I was only like in that school with you guys for like a couple of years, but I mean we still stayed super close like since then, and just hanging out like every weekend, and
totally.
And over time just ended up just listening to the same music together and going to concerts and whatnot, and it's just just crazy how fast time flies, man.
Oh, absolutely, dude. We would be doing everything together at from that age till I mean, we do everything we can together nowadays.
I mean, definitely tougher now that we're not even in the same state anymore. But I mean, we're still close enough where we can still make it work, thankfully. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's crazy that been that long, and it was elementary school, then like it was like beginning of high school for me, and like middle school for you, and we basically like essentially started picking up instruments, right? About that. So
yeah, I was 11, and my brother was you guys were like 13, 14, and when I started picking up drums, because you guys started playing guitars, and we just started our own bands together. It was like one band after the other for a while before we really struck onto one that took on, that took off, I should say.
Yeah. So I was talking a little before this, like just had like some pictures of you jamming and stuff, and I kind of wish I had like it was like the earliest picture of you like playing drums, like little baby Ben. It was like, dude, it's
little small child, shaved head boy.
Yep. Yeah, back when we because like our first bands were like punk rock bands, like just straight up like Ramones, Casualties influenced, like
all those like punkcore records bands. Dude, yeah, it was. I mean, that was once we found that stuff. Yeah, that was like all we wanted to play, And then it just over time, you get into different stuff and you work different little elements in there, and 4 bands later, we found we started Make It Last Forever, which played up and down the New England, I guess, not the East Coast, but, as much as 15, 16, 17-year-olds could do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I figured we'd get into that at some point too. But
Yeah.
but I guess we could just want to start off because like I said, we were really big into like the punk stuff at the time, punk hardcore. I mean we had like all our various influences. Like, I mean,
right.
I got into like some metal stuff. You guys were definitely more in like the punk spectrum. Like that's how you introduced me to a lot of those bands. And out of like all those, like which would you say like had the biggest influence on you?
Out of those, I mean, there was a band called. I mean, they're still playing and everything. Looking back, I think The Virus. I think they were from Philly. They were. They still are. They're still playing, but they were just. They had the fast punk sound that I liked, but there was like a hardcore element to it that I think helped me further find myself or find my interest in modern hardcore. I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Them, probably Minor Threat, looking back at older bands, they kind of taught me that you don't need a uniform to be into punk, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
I was too chubby to wear tight pants, so that didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, you guys like you rocked like the like that like cool like punk attire and whatnot like through the years too. Like you had
had to go all out, dude. You needed zippers, pins.
Yep. What is it, like the denim vest with like the crazy amount of patches and whatnot that you get to.
I've heard 3 songs from this band. I'm gonna buy a patch.
That's how it works, right?
And every one of those songs is a minute and 50 seconds.
I mean, well, there are a good majority of them that they were like 30 seconds or less, like punk songs, and it was like, this is like a 30 song album. Like, what are you talking about?
That's the best. Yeah,
all this content.
Dude, being that age, finding music like that just has that energy, it's like it's like everything you could want. Love it, man.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I mean, like me and my crazy music collection, and you've been collecting over the years too, and so I'm sure like just like a lot of those are definitely staples of your collection, or if there's like certain albums that you have that like are just like so like integral to like stuff that you enjoy and stuff that's influenced you, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I actually did an interview not too long, or about a year ago, where I did like the top 10 or something, and I'm trying to remember some of those off of there. It's always hard for me to pinpoint like just which ones are the best, but the ones that are coming to me are the Suicidal Tendencies self-titled. That was like just one of my favorites. Just every song, every lyric I loved. But that Toxic Narcotic compilation of 89 to 99, I loved that. That was another band that helped me look at what would eventually turn into my interest for modern hardcore and heavier sounds. Jeez, I mean, there's Madball, obviously, like every album. Like, Set It Off, obviously, Hold It Down, I really loved. That's a great one. You see what I mean? It's tough for me to pinpoint it. What I mean? It's also
so many integral albums that like kind of like shaped like what you eventually would like grow to love to play.
Yeah, and they all kind of affected in a different way. Like I had Unseen records that I loved, and like then there's Drop Dead as I got a little older. Providence Power Violence band that I that had a crazy energy. But yeah, those are the ones coming to mind right now as far as early influences.
And of course, like over time too, like we'd go to a ton of concerts together. I mean, I think like the first time I remember going with you was probably like Warped Tour. Like we went.
Oh yeah.
I think it was either like it was probably like the really muddy Warped Tour, or like was that
I
it?
think so. Yeah, either
it was like
04 or 05.
05, yeah, because 04 I think was at Gillette that year.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, that was, I'm trying to think, who do we see at that 05? I mean, there was...
I think Atreyu was there, Avenged Sevenfold was there. I'm trying to think of like...
My first Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like I remember more bands from the year after at like the
I think
at the airport, the Fitchburg airport, where it was like literally the hottest recorded day of like the summer.
Well, that was like the Casualties and Lower Class Brats. I remember seeing them, and then there was the Bridge 9 stage that day, right?
That was the first time actually that I first saw Death Before Dishonor, and and then I proceeded to see some dude get the shit kicked out of him because he like ran in the pit like with like a George Bush mask or something, and just was like he did something to like piss someone off, and then like literally like everyone like jumped this dude. It's just like, oh my god. And of course, like it was like during I'm pretty sure like they were playing like Friends, Family, Forever.
Right.
It's like this is the most like
hold on.
This is the most like wholesome like family
family
moment, you know.
14-year-old girls running away and all this shit. Dude. I remember. Well, what was it like? On Broken Wings and Black My Heart played. A shit ton of bands, man. I just remember that stage and that, like, you know, just that was an early taste of modern hardcore for me, big time. I was like, holy shit, like people are still going crazy. Like you hear all these stories about the 80s and how people like, oh, dudes had weapons in the pit. It's not like that anymore. And then you look and you're like, well, there's a guy with a metal pipe swinging it around, like,
like I'm standing back, like I'm not getting involved.
Yeah. Right? God damn, man. Insane.
But yeah, just like so many of those, and like various like hardcore fests and stuff. Like, like New England, they have like that big hardcore fest that they would have at the Palladium and stuff, and and of course, like, being where we're from, like a good majority of the shows that we attended were at the Living Room, which was like the like venue like when we were younger.
Right, everybody came through there. Yeah, it was. I remember seeing. Well, I remember missing the 25 to Life show there, which was, I think, did Reason to Fight play that one too? Another band I played in. We haven't played in a while, but we're still, it's like unofficially, it's like a weird unofficial hiatus we're on right now. But
I think they did, and Essence of Pain, and I think the Paraplegics too. I think they were on that.
That was like that. Those three bands were on like everything back
then. they were all like so like intertwined together. I mean,
it was fun. They booked everything too, though. That was like Keith from Essence of Pain and Greg, who now plays in Death Before Dishonor with us. They would book us on all of our first shows, all throughout Rhode Island. Like all of our first big shows. I mean, besides shows that we'd play, booked by just other, random hardcore kids with no real headliner. Whoever had been playing longest was the headliner. But with Greg and Keith, they'd book like, out of state or touring bands and stuff like that. That would, makes you feel like you're like, oh shit, I'm like on a real show now.
Yeah, and like, was there any, because we had such like a thriving, like local scene too. Like you said, like Essence of Pain, of course, Reason to Fight, the other band you're in, and like a lot of those. But like even like from back then, was there any like local shows that like really like stood out to you, or like any?
I mean, the show we played with Thick as Blood in New Bedford is one I look back on fondly. That was fucking pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think they played 3 songs before it got shut down because someone like smacked up the owner of the place.
Oh, dude, I forgot about that.
Remember, it happened like right as a song was ending, and they just were like, one of the 4 singers at the time was like, all right, we're Thick as Blood, peace. Just they got the fuck out. It's fucking wild.
Dude, that was like, that was such like a random venue too. So just for context, everybody, because we, like Ben mentioned earlier, we played in this band called Make It Last Forever. You can actually find our, if you feel so inclined, you can find the music for that on Bandcamp. But a good majority of our first shows were at this venue called AccuBilliards in New Bedford, and it was literally just this pool hall, and they put us like in like the top like corner of it, like, so there wasn't a stage or anything. Well, there was, but it was blocked off, and regardless,
it was like the soda machine corner.
Yeah, it was like so dumb.
Space. Like, we could do shows here. But we did. They were fun shows though too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my chair just dropped. Look at that.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, right. We're good. We're good.
Nice Snorlax cover. Thanks, Deadpan. Thanks for sharing that link too. Darren, how's it going, buddy? It's not a good hardcore show if you don't have to scrape someone off the floor. Jesus.
That's pretty true.
Yeah. I mean, even like recently, like it's crazy, like how wild like a lot of those shows can get too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it comes in waves. It always, you know what? The way I've always looked at it is usually, when things start to get crazy violent, people start to stop coming around, and when they stop coming around, it's only the people that are going crazy that are there. Everyone seems to chill out and just hang, and then as it becomes a more chill show, more people show up, and then it's like a cycle. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a part of it, but it's it always just kind of works that way.
Yeah.
But it's always fun either way.
Yeah. Because we had like all the ones at like Fallen Friends at like the Tiger's Den, which was like I remember going there when I was like 16. I'm like, I should not be at this show.
I remember you guys telling stories about Brockton shows all the time, and then when that one I finally went up with you guys, and the first thing I see was like police tape across the parking lot, and I was like, what the fuck? The show was, I remember someone's face got busted right next to me, and they were just dripping blood like a faucet. It was insane.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think I'll never forget that either.
Shere Khan and Black My Heart and 100 Demons and COA, Death Before Dishonor.
Yep.
Pale Horse, just a shit ton.
Bonus Army. Yeah, there was a lot of those.
Army, yeah. I think, did the Carrier play too?
No, not that. They played at another show like after that. There was the one at ICC Church, I think.
Okay, because I remember seeing them at Romans too, but a lot of crazy times, man. South Shore is fun.
Yeah. Galaxy, welcome in. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Hope you're well. But yeah, so I guess we can, just like we said, we did that band together. You can check that out if you wish. That link that Darren posted.
Thanks for looking out.
Which I know I obviously wish that we still could have kept jamming. We still could have kept playing.
We had a sick time recording that record. That 5-song EP we did. We had remember that we were just there all weekend at Sabansky Studios.
Sabansky, yeah. Yeah, he was a funny dude. It was that, and then even when we did the demo with I forget the dude's name. It was at the Parlor in Pawtucket, though.
Pawtucket, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. I used to practice right near there, just a couple of years ago. Yeah, at the Jam Stage building over there.
Yeah.
It was in the same complex, and I'm like, I recorded a demo here.
It's so funny. God, yeah, and the dude was so pumped because no one had ever asked him to do a gang vocal part or anything. He's like, well, I can help. And then he got so pumped. He was like, all right, let's go. It's so funny.
I think he's the only person you can hear on the gang vocals on that.
Probably. Blood Dragon, welcome in. Appreciate you tuning in. Can't stay too long. Oh, no worries. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're well. But yeah, just crazy, and it feels like yesterday, man. And yeah, that was 12 years ago for the demo, 11 years since we did that EP and stuff. We just mostly did local shows, and then eventually that was when I was kind of dealing with my own personal stuff at the time, and everyone just kind of did their own thing after that. We didn't technically disband or anything, but you ended up joining your buddies in For the Glory and Dog Day Afternoon. There was a handful of bands that you were kind of either helping with or filling in for.
The For the Glory we did. Let me see. We started in late 2009, and it was just beat down slash traditional hardcore band. You know, we played a lot in Brockton, a lot in Providence. We kept that going. I mean, we were on and off for literally until like 2018. I mean, that was probably the last time we played a show. But no, it was me, Dooley, who used to come out to our shows, and we met him playing with Essence of Pain because he was buddies
with Keith and stuff.
Yep, and so we made friends, and he brought me along when they needed a drummer, and played a bunch of shows with them, kept it going for a while. And Dog Day Afternoon was with Pat, the guitarist from For the Glory. I'm blanking out, man. I'm sorry.
It's all good. That's all good.
The guitarist from For the Glory's brother,
yeah.
Vic Foley. He's still playing in a band called Black Letter right now.
Oh, cool.
Rhode Island band. They're awesome. So anyone in the chat, check them out if you like just straight up rock and roll. And it was like a blues rock band. It was a lot different than anything I'd ever played before, but it was fun to see how I would sound playing stuff like that. You know. And Vic's he writes good songs. He's a wicked talented guitarist, so it was cool to play with him. But Pat and Mike and I did a couple from For the Glory. Would do a couple side project. We did Boxed In, which only a couple of years ago. That was me singing instead of playing drums. Chris Sylvia, who's the original drummer of For the Glory. This is this whole weird incestuous lineup we had forever. but we put out a CD. My brother and I were singing in that band together, and and that was after. I think the last show we played with that was 2017. Yeah, time flies, man. I don't know what to say.
I was actually gonna bring that up too. That you did vocals in that band with your brother, and you did guitar in like another band too or something, or was that just like you were mostly just for like fill-in spots? You would do that because I mean you can play everything. Like obviously drums, but like
I mess around with a little bit of everything. You know, I'm trying to think. I don't think I play guitar in any other bands. Honestly, I can't. I'm trying. I'm trying to think. I don't think I did. No.
It was just
as far as long playing bands.
Just more so on the fill-in basis, basically.
Yeah. Right. I'm blanking out though. If you remember something I don't know.
But do you have through all our years of pre Death Before Dishonor, like any specific moments that were like most memorable to you? Either like one of our shows or one of like the other band shows. Like
I can't remember which show it was, like who the lineup was. The show that our old band Make Last Forever played at that AccuBilliards in New Bedford, the venue we described earlier. I forgot what the lineup was, but we played super early in the day and we weren't really expecting much out of the set. It just went like some dude had been like it was his first show since being in the military or something, and I never met this dude. I don't think I talked to him after at all, but he just grabbed the mic in front of our set or in the middle of our set and just told everyone to go crazy, and the entire room just went off.
Dude, that was such a cool moment.
That was the first time I ever played with the crowd going insane.
I
remember that one always sticks out to me. And with a later lineup, a band called Full Clip I did for a little bit with Pat and Mike and Keith from Essence of Pain. We played Cutthroat's first reunion show in Brockton, and that was pretty wild. The show itself was wild, but our set it was a fun show. So it's one of my favorite shows to think back on from before DVD.
Yeah, and I love the one at the PAL we did too. Actually, both of them, but
dude, see, we had a couple. Yeah, that was a great show with Recon and Mike Dunder,
the Thrill of It,
who we played with a bunch.
Yeah,
Danny of World Star fame, if you're watching. God, yeah, no, that was a wild show, and imagine fighting at the Police Athletic League. That's always a great idea, right?
I mean, I don't know. It was a cool venue though. Like it
was, dude. They had some fun shows.
It was like decent size in there. Like you had a massive stage. It was like I'm surprised they didn't do like more events. Like I don't know.
You think they would?
But I guess it probably because like the license, because you like need a cop like there basically.
Exactly that. Yeah.
But
There's always some sort of weird complications. The better a venue is, I feel like the harder it is to book.
mm-hmm.
But that's coming from someone who's never booked a show. So,
Edry's in the chat. Edry, welcome in, buddy. Appreciate you
Edry?
hanging out with us. Hope you're well, buddy. And of course, I have to bring up like a lot of like some of our other like favorite local bands and stuff, or bands we played with at the time, like because our friends in Lame Genie, they had their hardcore band at the time, World in Arms, which is really, really good, incredibly underrated band that like I feel like really like should have like skyrocketed, and like just they're so unique to like the genre, like, and their songs were so killer too.
For sure, yeah, they were playing stuff that nobody else was playing, as far as in our circles at least, But I mean, Kyle's recorded almost every project I've ever had, so he's amazing. I watched your Lame Genie episode too in preparation for this.
Hell yeah, yeah, that was a good time.
So shout out to Kyle and Mike, and I'm sorry I forget the guitarist's name,
Jeff.
but shout out to Chad. All right, Jeff.
Yep.
All right, there we go. I got it.
29 Fireflies, welcome in. Appreciate you tuning in for your first for the first time for the podcast. Appreciate it. Yeah, all those guys are great, and we were touching on the hardcore genre in general, like of course like it has like the the beat down, like the tough guy stigmatism, like the just angry music, angry yelling music that it's not everyone's cup of tea, of course. But
Yeah.
but what would you say like really makes that genre like stand out amongst like other stuff though, and like what makes it so like impactful for you?
I mean, I think that it's like what makes it stand out from other, because there's a lot of loud genres. There's a lot of stuff that you can play loud that's gonna piss off your parents and everything. But with hardcore, to me, I think, I mean, there's so many different outlets of it that it stands on its own, because it's one of the last places I think you can really fully be yourself, and it's not you're not. It sounds corny to say, but it's against mainstream society. I mean, it's tough to say because it's so big nowadays. I mean, you see like bands that have billboards, and good for them, that's awesome. But the genre itself is always going to be the heart of it. There's going to be people that come and go that and maybe it wasn't for them, maybe that moment was there for them, but the heart of it's always going to be around, because there's always kids that are just going to be pissed off and want to say something loud, and say something, and say something that is unpopular, and just put it right out there and use their voice. That's the way I look at it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess like part of that too that I always liked, like, I mean, you have your different, bands have like their different like subject matter and stuff. Hold on one second. I think might have dropped a minute. Oh boy.
Oh, you got me?
Yeah. No, I think we're good. All right. Yeah, it's just my feed dropped entirely for a minute there. Apologies for the technical difficulties, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just gotta wait for this to get back up.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, it's Yep, that's. Yep, just gotta. It just takes a little minute when this happens. Deadpan.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, it's some of the things I enjoyed about it, like, because I was really big into, especially like later on, like some of the like more melodic like hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
Just a little more technical stuff, but like I still loved like a lot of the traditional stuff too. Like Madball, Earth Crisis, like some of those albums that like will just like always like stay with me, like,
Right.
just always like, I have those songs like etched in the back of my mind. They're just like,
Hell yeah.
I don't know, they're
It's like iconic, kind of. Yeah.
yeah, and just like that genre in general, like it's just like a good like escape genre, I guess, if that's like if you know, like I don't know, like it's because you have like a rough day, I don't know, or you're just like really like focused on something, and you're just or you're working out, and you
Right.
just need something to like really pump you up, and like I feel like with that really like that's always been one that like gets me going.
Absolutely, man. That's definitely a fucking. I've had my days the same thing. Yeah, just like anybody. You turn it up and you just do your best to forget about whatever's eating at you. But it's that's definitely what keeps me coming back.
Hell yeah, dude. But I guess we can start delving into Death Before Dishonor.
All right.
So, like I said, you like after we were playing stuff, you did For the Glory, you did Reason to Fight, you did a bunch of these other bands, and then eventually you joined Death Before Dishonor. They've been around since like 2001, I believe, around there, and they had like their first album in 2002, and had a plethora of like just killer releases. Count Me In. That's like that was the one that really like got me like hooked in them. Like, all right, this band is fucking sick. Like, and like every track on that was just like fantastic, and and that just like really got me hooked in that genre. Like,
Agreed.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, outside of like Madball and Earth Crisis, a lot of the classic ones, but yeah, like that album like was just like just so like well done, and I just really dug that one. And then they had Better Ways to Die, I think, was the one after that too, and then
2009. Yep.
And so they've been around for a while, and they've had their rotating members through the years too, and eventually I mean they had a drummer at the time, but then I think it was 2014 that they had like a European tour and they needed a fill in, and you happened to meet Brian, the singer, at New England Hardcore Fest, right? Is that how that worked out?
Well, it was 2011 when he asked me, but I had met Brian before a couple of years ago, or a couple of years prior, because we were supposed to play a show. When I was playing in For the Glory, we were playing a show with them, Wisdom in Chains, and Product of Waste in Providence, but it got canceled because of some crazy shit that happened in Providence the night before, but or like the week before or something. So they canceled it, and I saw him at a show in Holyoke, and I was like, and I talked to him. I said, "Oh, do you know anything about what's up? I'm Ben. Do you know anything about if there's a makeup show, whatever?" So we got talking there. And then from then on, whenever I'd see them, we'd say hi, whatever. And just he knew I played in a band. He knew I played drums. And their drummer at the time, Josh Skullman. What's up? If you're watching, you're probably not, but it's okay. But he was taking some time off or something. I don't know if he was traveling or something, but he wasn't going to be able to make the tour. So Brian asked me when I was leaving the show, and just kind of pulled me aside, like, "Hey, we want to come to Europe for the summer?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, absolutely!" How do you say no to that? So from then on, I did the tour with them, and a couple of years later, he asked me to be their drummer, and that's history from then on.
That's awesome. Hi Lash, welcome. Appreciate you tuning in. She said that she spent a lot of her high school years going to Death Before Dishonor shows. That's awesome.
Respect. Hell yeah.
Yeah, rip Product of Waste, dude. Yeah. Dude, I miss that band so much. Like T was so good, man. Like,
yeah, they were absolutely, man. Rest in peace, T.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was big loss for Providence music. Absolutely.
Yeah, even like his solo stuff. Like I loved like a lot of his hip hop stuff that he put out, and and then they played a lot. I'm pretty sure they played like a good amount of shows together too.
Oh yeah, he did. I'd seen him show up to shows and just kind of do his rap thing when you thought Product of Waste was playing, but it was always cool because he rapped the same way he sang, kind of, so it was, you no matter if you like the band, you're gonna like his hip hop too. So it was cool.
Her and T got into some shit in the city.
Oh god.
Nice. He was a funny. I only think I only ever met him in person like once, because like because like Eric like talked to him for a minute and.
Gotcha.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was like the summer before he passed or something. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the man. I mean, he was. I wasn't super close with him, but every time I said hi to him, every time we talked, he was always cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, definitely a big loss. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like you said, you filled in for them. You did that European tour. What anything? Because that was like your first like tour like in general, like because at that point you like hadn't really like done a U.S. tour or anything at that point yet. Like what was your whole like mindset like holy shit, I'm going to Europe, I'm fucking tour.
I had no idea what I really had no idea what was. I mean, you hear stories and people talk about going on tour and you have an idea of what it's like, but I mean, I definitely was spoiled having that being my first tour. That was you don't have to drive or anything because all the signs are in German or whatever language. So you have someone driving you and someone selling your merch, and your job is basically to kind of sit there, load in, play, load out, and just sleep and sit there in the van again. It's just it's a little overwhelming because I'd never even left the East Coast before. Even the furthest south I'd gone on the East Coast was like South Carolina. I really had never traveled or anything before, so it was a lot all at once. But it was I was trying to just remember everything because I didn't know I didn't know if this is going to be my last time seeing anything like this.
Yeah.
If Brian didn't ask me again, it probably would have been my last time.
Yeah.
I'm not very travel minded on my own where I'm like, oh, I want to take a week off and go to this place. I kind of lose track of time if I don't set a reminder for myself. But no, it was overwhelming, but I loved every minute of it. It was awesome.
29 says that must be a huge change. Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, because you never, in a lot of cases you wouldn't never expect to have that kind of experience, and especially like it was like perfect time, perfect place for you, and it was just awesome how that worked out for you, man.
Thank you, man. I mean, I'd only met, granted, I met Brian a bunch of times, but I had only met Colin, our guitarist, who's still with us now, but I'd only met Colin twice, and I think I only met Jake, the old guitarist, like one time before, so you're out there with people you either don't know or hardly know, so it's definitely like a weird culture shock. They used to give me shit because we'd order from McDonald's and everyone would, they would know well enough how to cross the language barrier, I guess, and order food in English so that they'll understand. And I would just clam up. I'd be like, okay, who's next? Ooh. And they would be, Big Mac. For like hours afterwards, and be like, oh, Ben's got to order. Let's see what he said. What dumb thing he says that time. I'd like to say I've gotten better, but I'm not sure.
It's all good, buddy. But yeah, so and how long did it take you to get into like the full swing of like learning all the songs and because was there like, do you have like a big set list that you had to? I assume you maybe just had like the similar set list like through most of that tour, but was there like a lot you had to like learn like in preparation like just for that, or like did you basically have like a lot of it that you knew off like already like just from jamming like on your own kind of thing?
I mean, there was definitely songs that I would put my headphones on and just jam in my basement, and I knew through that way. And with drums, there's a lot of it's different learning songs on drums. I think, at least for me. I mean, I imagine other drummers feel the same way. But when you know what the tempo of it is, like what it's going to take to get you through that song. It's kind of a matter of memorizing where the fills are or what changes are coming up and stuff like that. There were a couple of new songs I wasn't as familiar with, but I mean, I was like a super fan at that time. So I still love the band, but
yeah.
It's different playing for them, But so I, was always listening to those records, so a lot of it, I knew what was coming. I knew, but there were like 13 songs that I had to learn. And the first time when I tried out was with Brian and Frankie, and it was in my dad's basement.
That's so funny. I didn't know you guys jammed there.
Oh yeah, we did. We jammed there the first time where it was just me and Frankie, and I think he plugged into like Eric's old practice amp or something like that. Like it was very bare bones, just whatever on the spot. But,
yeah.
And then the next time was like the week before we were leaving, or like within the week we were leaving, and Con and Jake came by, and we just kind of chilled in my basement and freaking blasted out the set as best as we could.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple stumbles when we got on a tour. I definitely botched a few songs or a couple parts here and there, but ended up after like the first 5 shows, I was like fully in the swing of it, I think.
Awesome. But, yeah, I mean, because it's like, it takes, especially like joining another band and just trying to, get down at like everything, especially if they have like, an extensive like discography and stuff, and
Well, right, yeah. I mean, True Till Death, we only play the title track off of, luckily, so that's like one record that you can kind of count out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 3 records of songs that I was like, I was familiar with, but it's different when you have to get yourself used to that muscle memory of playing them and, making them sound good and not sloppy. And then you don't always know, like, if you've never jammed with somebody before, even if you know the song and what's coming, you don't kind of pick up on their cues, or you don't know if they're going to be as on time with you or if you're not on time with them, so there's a couple hurdles to overcome for sure. Starting in a band and then going straight into that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty wild.
What up, B? In here with a burrito. Hell yeah, dude. He's prepared. Hope you have enough to share with all of us. But yeah, so eventually you became full-time member.
Mm-hmm.
You got the job, you got the gig.
That I did.
And then I guess just from there, then you just played bunch of tours with them, and did even more overseas tours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying any in particular that like stand out to you, like post you becoming full time, like.
I mean, well, I love doing U.S. tours. I think the best. I mean, we've done a couple, like, we haven't done a full U.S. tour since 2014, which was with Ringworm. So, as far as full U.S. tours, that's the best one. Mm-hmm. in my head, my opinion. But we've done a few weekends and like a couple week tours in like separate like different selected parts of the U.S. with Madball. In just this past year, I mean, we did California right before COVID hit. Like, mm-hmm. we got home like a week before everything started shutting down, and it was wild. But I'd say outside of the country, Mexico stands out to me. We did a weekend in Colombia, which was crazy. That was a fun time. Mm-hmm. There's really like bad quality like cell phone video from one of our shows. I think it was in Bogota. Or maybe Medellin, but that is like one of my favorite videos. The rawness of it, and you can tell the crowd is just going crazy. Like that's got to be one of my favorite videos of us playing. It just had that. I remember playing that show, and it felt so cool. Just seeing everybody, like, when you're talking to them, because in Europe most people can speak English, mm-hmm. and they can speak it better. It makes you feel like an idiot, because if you're trying to speak their language, you're just like but in Mexico, Mexico or Colombia and South America, you'll find people that can speak English, but you're less likely to. So if you're talking to someone in the crowd, there's definitely a language barrier, but then you start playing and they know all the lyrics, and it's like, what, like, it's crazy, it's a cool feeling.
I just gotta interrupt you for 1 second. Burley, thank you so much for that raid with a party of 9. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you sticking through with that raid. Burley, I hope the rest of your stream went well, man. Of course, if you're not following Burley, check him out over on his channel. Really good dude, really supportive of everyone in the community. Always playing a good variety of stuff over there. Please check him out. Playing some Mario All Stars. Hell yeah, dude. Very nice. Yeah, hope that went well, man. And yeah, to anyone that's just coming in here, welcome. I'm KoppsCast. We primarily play RPGs, sometimes a variety of other stuff, a lot of retro stuff. And here every other Thursday, we have these interview, talk show, podcasts where we have different content creators on, some artists, some musicians, some streamers, YouTubers, you name it. We like to bring them on, show them a little love. This week, you got one of my best buddies, Ben. He's the drummer of Boston hardcore band Death Before Dishonor. So thank you so much for coming in. And,
yeah, man, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
that was for the chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Burley. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, so we were talking. You were just talking about your favorite like places in the U.S. that you toured. Any other which of those tours like which of the lineups did you have like the most fun touring with?
Well, right now, I mean, we just this past year we did, or year and a half, I'd say. I don't know. We did the Rebellion tour, which was at Madball, Iron Reagan, Born from Pain, Ironed Out, and Slope, and Brick by Brick. And that was just 2 buses. We were all like, 2 buses with 3 bands on it each, going through Europe, and that was a really fun time. That was like, we everyone getting along, us and Iron Reagan and Ironed Out, we were all in the same bus, and we all just hit it off like crazy. So that was a really great one. But then not long after that, we just did with Terror, Jesus Peace, and an Outburst, and why am I blanking? I'm an idiot here. I got the poster in my other room. Dude, it's on. Give me a minute. No, but that tour was incredible. We were another bus tour. Every show, everyone getting along, hanging out. I'm looking because I feel like addicted. I don't know this last band.
It's all good.
Lions Law. What the fuck? The Euro Kings, the French Kings. Lions Law.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, everyone on those 2 tours stick out to me as far as packages, because most of the other European tours we've done, we've been on we're mostly out by ourselves, and we will play festivals and then meet up with other bands there and hang out and everything. But when you're on the road, you're out you're just doing your own thing, like festivals on the weekends and club shows in the during the week. But no, as far as like packages, those 2 definitely stand out. But they were a great time.
Hey, you mentioned Jesus Peace. They're like they're one of the newer like more like up and coming bands right now. They just had their first full length that came out 2 years ago, I think. That Only Self was the name of it, and it's dude, it's fucking killer. Like it's
hard, man. It's hard. That band is sick.
Yeah, I saw them. Yeah, it was like 3 years ago, I think now, with Comeback Kid at the Raven in Worcester, which is like, it was like one of the worst venues. It's like, it was an absolute dump. But
we played there with Boxed In a couple years ago, and I'll refrain from talking any shit, but yeah, not a fun time. Show, our set was fun, but yeah, there was definitely some things. There's a reason they don't book too many shows there.
Right, yeah, but yeah, Jesus Peace, they're awesome, and of course, you getting to play with Madball, who are one of your biggest like influences, and was that one of the? Because I know at one point you filled in for them, right? Was it on drums or on guitar?
That was on guitar. There was a very weird, crazy situation where, like all day, like since the morning, the singer of Iron Reagan, Tony, also the singer of Municipal Waste, he got super sick. Like he was, I remember just waking up outside the venue in the bus, coming inside, and everyone was like, Tony's like out of it. Like I think he went to the hospital and everything. But and so all day everyone was like, everyone's got to take a song and sing an Iron Reagan song to help him get through the set.
Mhm.
I was gonna sing one. Brian sang two. Colin, our guitarist, sang a Cannibal Corpse cover with them, which is up on YouTube. You can check that out. It's pretty cool. Uh, but so while we're all getting ready and Iron Reagan's getting ready to play, all of a sudden Brian's like, "Hey, who knows Madball songs on guitar? Because their guitarist has whatever Tony has," and he was super sick too.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I know a few, and basically as soon as I said that, I got scooped up into their dressing room and talking to Freddie and Hoya, and they're like, all right, which ones I wrote them down. I checked them off on the set list, which ones. I sat down with Hoya and learned all, like, just kind of every little note that I thought I knew. He was like, oh no, that's not the one, that's the one. And I essentially got to play 6 songs with them. So it was like I did 6 songs and a couple people did 6, or one other one did 6, and a couple did 3, and like we all kind of just patchworked together to make that go smooth. So it was a cool moment of like touring unity, It's cool.
But also just like, just such like I'm sure a mind blowing moment for you, just like playing with like one of your favorite bands ever too.
For sure, yeah. I was nervous. I definitely messed a few things up, and I was like, "Fuck!" But
I mean, when you're in the moment, like, I mean, I'm sure no one noticed it that much, Like, I'm sure.
Right? Yeah. Dude. Yeah. It was. Yeah. I can't. Yeah. I was like super stoked. I couldn't even like think about anything else for the next couple of days. I was just like on my phone, like, "Damn, we get a video of that. I gotta see this." Like. Just all day spending on YouTube.
Actually, was there video? Is there videos of you playing with them? Oh, that's right. There is. Yeah.
Actually, shameless plug. My YouTube channel. I post videos of me playing drums and doing anything. Just whatever I have a video of that I feel like is interesting. I put on my YouTube channel, but I have that video up there, so go check that out. Ben Hilton.
What's? Oh, just Ben Hilton. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll put it there if anyone wants to look up, see that video of you.
Yeah, subscribe if you like a mishmash of weird, different videos that there's no coherence. There's no consistency.
Edric says you started playing Smash Mouth instead.
Yeah.
Freddie just like looks at you like, yo, what the fuck?
Dude, Smash Mouth could be the name of a Madball song, I feel like.
It could, technically, yeah.
Across Your Face is kind of like Smash Mouth.
How chill of a dude is Freddie though?
He's cool, man. I mean, I've only met him, or I mean, like I've met him a bunch of times, but I've only really talked to him like briefly a few times, and he's just a cool dude. I mean, I'm saying this as like, look, I'm trying to think, how do I say this? I don't like. I've talked to him briefly where it's just kind of like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, cool. All right, yeah. Tour's going fun. Hell yeah, man. That's what's up,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know him super well, but
Gotcha.
every person I know that's talked to him and knows him very well has nothing but good things to say. Freddie's cool.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And cause you got to play with like one of my favorites, Comeback Kid, that I mentioned earlier, and I think that was probably on like a European tour. I don't think you ever did like a full like tour with them or anything.
Yeah, we did a festival in Europe where we ended up playing with them. I forget, it was some open air festival, and I think Hungary or something like that. I can't remember which country it was, but it was them, and I think Rise Against or Against Me, some band.
Against Me, I think sounds more accurate. Yeah,
more likely. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to remember. There's like these 3 bands that I always get their names mixed up, but it was one of them. But no, that was a fun. They always put on a great show. Comeback is great.
Mm-hmm. And any other like standout bands that you either like discovered for the first time while you were on tour, either doing a U.S. tour, or overseas?
There was bands that I've known that I until I saw them live and played with them and met them, I kind of slept on. Like Ignite is a big one. That was on my first tour. We played with them a bunch, and I had heard songs. I was always like, yeah, they're good. I mean, I just never. It was like they were a little before my time, and I just never got into them super hard. But after seeing them, like whenever they come through, I gotta check them out. Yeah. And everyone, like Brett is the coolest. Zoli's the main. I don't think he's singing for him anymore, but Zoli's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone in the band's a great dude. But trying to think of who else. There's, I mean, Iron Reagan. They're like I'm touring with them. Like I again another band that I'd heard, but I wasn't super listening to. But now anytime they come up, I gotta crank it up. You know. Let's see. I mean, I'm literally looking through my CDs to try to point out stuff that I'm like, who have I played with that I'm bad with on the spot sometimes. You know what I mean?
It's all good. All good, man. All good.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the bands we play with, I always get a new appreciate. If I haven't listened to them or I'm just not super familiar with them, like watching them play, like even if I'm not super into their music, like it gives me a new appreciation for them. You know.
Yeah. Do you have any particular like moments, like either on one of the like those like later tours that stand out to you, or any funny stories, should I say? Like,
oh jeez. All right.
If they are able to share or willing to share, of course. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure I've heard some stuff,
Crazy.
but
yeah. No, I mean, there's like, let me see. My first tour, there was a dude who licked his friend's ass for a free T-shirt of ours, and we didn't ask him to do that or anything. We just showed up in front of our merch table and said, "I will lick his ass." And we're like, "Oh boy." I came in I walked up during the middle. I was like, "What the fuck is going on right here?" And I was like, whoever was selling was like, "Dude, he just did that and asked for a free shirt." And I'm like, I don't know, give it to him. All right. I guess he deserved it. Trying to think. That's tough to come out the gate swinging with that one because it's hard to beat that one. I'm gonna be like, well, there was a time we were watching a movie and we all laughed. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny. Like, like we've had our nights where we go out and party and it's wild and fun and we're all screaming and everything. But at the same time, there's a lot of nights where we're just in a hotel room sitting there, just on our phones or just like watching a movie. Those nights are fun. I like when we're just kind of hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
I remember, we were on the Rebellion tour, us and the guys from Iron Reagan and Ironed Out. A lot of the nights we would just stay up kind of drinking on the bus and go to bed at like 5 and wake up at whatever time and just be in the city. But we had like in the downstairs of the bus there's a little living room area kind of, and they would have there's like a plug-in for your phone or your laptop or whatever, and you could play music through there. So we all just kind of took turns like with the aux cord playing whatever, like, dude, you gotta listen to this one. We'd listen to whatever, like old Iron Maiden shit or whatever, and eventually we, like us, like Colin and I and the guys from Iron Reagan all agreed on Weird Al. We just played Weird Al for like an hour straight, and none of the guys from Iron Al, I don't know if he's that big in England or what, but they had no, like, they're English. They're like, what the hell is this, mate? They're just like, they're so pissed. There's accordion. I'm like, oh god. But we were just drunk and like loving it. We were like, fucking, this is Weird Al, dude. God. That's so funny. There's fun times, man.
I never like, I know, like, even like growing up, like you were pretty big into Weird Al, like when you were younger, but like I don't know, I just like he's a funny guy. And like what's the movie that he did? UHF, that's it, yeah. With the hot the what is it, the wiener sandwich, the Twinkie wiener sandwich or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Classic snack. You take a hot dog, you cut up a Twinkie, use a Twinkie as the bun, and spray it with some
spray cheese.
Yep, spray cheese, and you're good to go. Twinkie wiener sandwich.
Does that actually taste good, or is it pretty terrible?
When you're stoned, it tastes pretty good.
So it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Have an insane stomach ache the next day, but
That's awesome. But yeah, so you did all those tours. You learned a lot of those songs eventually because you know me that I was constantly asking you like, Ben, when's the new material gonna come out? When's it coming out? And it became like such like a regular thing, and I mean, it was eventually became 10 years after the previous release when you guys put out last year's album Unfinished Business. But you guys got it done. Put out 9 new songs. They're all killer, man. Couple of the tracks you did music videos for.
Mm-hmm.
Was it True Defeat and Freedom Dies, I think?
Yeah.
And yeah, but how was the whole writing process of and being involved like with actually like writing like the next album with them?
It was a lot of it. I mean, there were 2 songs that were musically written by the time I got like my first real practice in the band, and those ones would eventually become Cowards Will Fall and Freedom Dies. And so like my first practice with them was like, all right, we're gonna work out how these songs are gonna go, and we sat with, and that was back in 2013. So over that course of 6 years, it was just a lot of like, oh, I have an idea. Oh, that's a cool riff idea. Like one, I mean, as anyone who's followed the band would know, we've had a crazy over the last 6 years that I've been the official drummer, or 7 years now. That I've been their official drummer. We've had just a revolving door of bassists, and we finally, we got Austin lasted us for a long time. That was, we had a lot of fun times touring with Austin. Still miss him, but we got Greg now, and so we kind of locked down our bassist and everything. But while we were teaching this one turned into Haunted, the main riff. Mm-hmm. We were in the middle of teaching a friend of ours, Pierce, who was going to be doing a tour with us. Like, all right, this is whatever song, whatever. And Colin made a joke and said, yeah, basically every Death Before Dishonor song is made up of these notes. And we're like, we could actually make a riff out of that. So we just kind of messed with tempos and weird things, and that's eventually what we came up with, was that main riff. And so that was one writing endeavor. I mean, there was a couple different, like in 2014, we Colin and I went to a friend of his place to record kind of demo versions of just the musical, like the instrumental songs, just so we would be able to hear them on a decent recording system and not just off of someone's phone, And he had one full new song, and by that time we had songs or song ideas that never came to fruition, that didn't even get put on the record. We kind of trimmed some of the fat that was unfinished and came up with the songs that were on the final thing. But
so that's why you had just like 9. So you had more than 9 essentially, but you just wanted to just perfect like the other ones and just like put out the ones that are like, all right, these are sick as is. Just put this out together and leave it at that.
Yeah, our approach was basically, we want the most energetic, the most just fun, the ones we were just the most sure of, and the ones we were most confident with, because we were thinking, like 2009 versus now, like with the amount that you can just stream, and versus back then, you don't need to put a CD on and like sit through the whole thing. Like, there are people that do it still, and people that do it of all ages, but I feel like that with the younger people getting into music, you want to grab as much of their attention as possible. And there's so many bands that put out like just 3-song installments until they put out a full length thing. We just wanted something, instead of a typical full length, we just wanted short, to the point, but just satisfying at the same time. And I feel like that's what we were able to do. I'm proud of it. I'm wicked proud of that record. But yeah, the writing process in general it was like a long time. It took a long time, but I think it worked out the best that it could.
Yeah, I mean the last guest I had on here, Slacker Stuff. He actually had a YouTube video going over quality over quantity, or quantity versus quantity.
Really?
And I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like with that album, it's definitely like, yeah, just quality over quantity. You know, like you just got all, you know, even though it's not like, you know, as long as like some other records, but you know, the 9 songs that you have on there are still like killer as is, and you know.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, that was, we had a lot of long talks about like, all right, do we do, an EP or no, we're going to do a full length. Wait, no, what if we just do a 7-inch and just do like the best single we have? Oh, wait, no, what if we do like 5 songs? And like, we just eventually got it up to, I think it's 8 songs. Yeah, it's eight songs on there. But those 8 songs, like, it was going to be 7. And then at the last minute, we wrote Left to Die. And that one is just, literally went like, Brian came to a practice one night and said, I just watched this documentary on thrash bands. We need a fucking thrash song. We need something like super thrashy and hard. And Colin, being the metal head that he is, he's just like, all right, like, I got this one. We all just, we took it from there. And I think I still got video of like the night because I was like, all right, whatever we come up with, I don't want to miss this. So I set up my phone and whatever we came up with, had it recorded. I think I still got those videos somewhere. Crazy.
And it was like, I mean, through the course of the band too, like from like, Better Ways to Die, and then going into this one, you definitely get like a lot more like shredding on there too. And like Colin, he kills it on this record too, especially like I'm thinking of the riff in Freedom Dies, like that solo like halfway through it, and dude, it's killer, man.
Dude, well, that's Colin for you, man. The dude he's like a disciple of crazy metal guitar. He's so like, all he wanted was just his own Rocky George Suicidal Tendencies solo on a record. But I give him a lot of credit for a lot of the stuff he wrote, because he's got a lot of metal knowledge that he purposely didn't let seep into his writing. Just so he's like, he the last thing he wanted, he said, he's like, I don't want this to be the metal Death Before Dishonor record, so everyone can point to the guy with long hair and be like, it's because that guy joined the band. Now DBD's a metal band. Like, he's so finicky about change. And like, even I mean, I remember when Better Ways to Die came out, there were certain songs where I was like, the hell, what are they doing? Like, and obviously I love them now.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
People can be finicky when they hear something new for the first time,
Yeah.
But a lot of those songs have become, like, they become staples in our sets.
But it's cool to have like that added variety to it now, for sure.
For sure. Because we just saw it. We're touring with a band like Iron Reagan, and we blast out something that's got a crazy solo and is like thrash sounding. It's gonna make if they're not interested in the rest of the set, they can look at that and be like, oh shit, okay, so they know, they'll get our audience, whatever. And you want to be able to, you want everyone to pick something out and have something they enjoy from your set.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in regards to the writing process too, you actually were involved with like some of the lyrics too, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple lines on there, a couple songs. I mean, I'll write lyrics just on a whim. So I'll just, sometimes when I write, I'll just be like, if I'm really proud of it, like, send it over to Brian, like, what do you think of that? And then he'll take it and be like, all right, well, if I'm going to sing this, I wouldn't say that word, so I'm going to change that to this, because that just doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth or whatever. I'm trying to think of the ones that Haunted, I wrote most of. Those are like some of the lyrics I'm most proud of.
It's like my favorite track from that album too. Like, I just love like,
oh really?
Like the combination of like the riffs, there's a good like, heavy part like halfway through that like just like pumps you up. And
Thanks. It's been a while since I've listened to it. I gotta listen to it again. I mean, I know that record like the back of my hand, but it's just, it's been a minute. But I gotta refresh on some of the other ones. I always hear, Freedom Dies and Trudeau's Feet because they're the video songs, because those are the ones that always come up. But I gotta give that a thorough re-listen. It's been over a year now.
You should do a video for that song too.
Dude, we're thinking about all sorts of different. I mean, we talked about doing one for Bad Blood. I think Promises of Yesterday will be the next one if we do one.
That'd be cool.
But just because that's the anthem song,
Yeah.
we gotta get on that. But that's good to know. We got that. Haunted's getting some love. We don't hear many people mention that one on the record, so I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like I said, absolutely killer, man. And I mean, yeah, just the record overall. And to anyone in the chat, if you want to check it out, it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's pretty much everywhere. Bandcamp, wherever you don't like to listen to your music. Check out Unfinished Business. That's the name of the album from Death Before Dishonor. Absolutely killer record. Nine song album. You'll just breeze right through it, but every song has that impact that just hits you, you know.
't man. Check it out, guys.
Hell yeah.
Long time coming with that one.
So the album came out. You did. Did you do like a record release for it, or was it just kind of like it was just like on the tour, and then you just? I'm pretty sure you were on tour at the time, like when it like officially released and stuff, right?
We did. I mean, we tried to be. We were. We never got to do an official like Boston record release. So we actually haven't played Boston or New England since the thing came out. So that's like once this whole thing is over, this whole COVID, all the restrictions are over. We want to do something hometown and just do it right, you know. But when the day it came out, we were set to play This Is Hardcore Fest, and we played that with, I think the headliner was Code Orange, Bloodbather played that day, 100 Demons and Bruce Page was singing. That was another incredible set from that day. Yeah, just that. So that and there's full video up on YouTube from that. Hate56 took multi-camera, all like, you know, studio quality recording of the live. It's a great video. I'm stoked they got that. But no, that was like our record release show.
Yeah, I watched that set on YouTube, and yeah, you guys killed that. I wish I could have attended. You know, it's just because it's in Philly, right?
Yeah, Philly. Every year, Joe Hardcore does that, and it's just it's a wild time, man. Like 4 days or 3 days of insane hardcore.
Yeah, and obviously unfortunate the way that this year has basically panned out and just kind of killed momentum for like everybody in general. Like, you know, I miss concerts so much. Like I had a show earlier this year that I had tickets to, and of course it got shut down. But yeah, how's like this whole thing affected you guys? Like, I mean, you still jam and stuff. Obviously, you still practice.
Yeah, we do. We all, I mean, we're all friends anyway, so we keep in touch no matter what. So it's like, you know, we have our group chat and we're always kind of poking in on each other. And but basically we had a couple things lined up. We were supposed to go to Canada with Madball in May, and then we were supposed to play Portland. We were supposed to play Portland, Maine in February, and then it got canceled because of snow. And then we went to California, came back, and our makeup show in April got shut down. We were supposed to play Brockton in April. That got shut down. And just basically, we had a whole summer tour in Europe that was like festival. We were going to play with like Social Distortion and Suicidal Tendencies and Wisdom in Chains, all these bands, and just everything got shut down. And it's scheduled for next year. I'm fingers crossed that we can get over there, or that everything will be all right for next year, because those festivals are just going to be, they're always wild, but some of the lineups have just looked insane. But no, I mean, without playing, all we can really do is stay jamming, you know, and that's been tough because our bassist Greg broke his finger recently, you know, so he's been on the mend there, but he's close to getting there. So in the next couple of weeks we'll be practicing again, but we've got little plans. We're talking about writing some new material. We've got a couple things in the works. You know,
I was gonna say, like, since you kind of withholding at the moment for shows, but it's the perfect time for you to just keep putting more and more material out, and just have more stuff to put out, and just make the revenue for the band that way.
Right. There's that. Yeah, we've got. I mean, we've been writing here and there. We haven't practiced in a minute, but just due to injuries and things like that. But now that we're going to be able to get back in the practice room and get going on that, we're going to do as much as we can with the time we have and everything. Luckily, there's no there's no point in rushing right now. But we got that, and then we've also got our Big Cartel page up there, which all the stuff we ordered for future shows, because we printed a bunch of merch that just is sitting doing nothing now. But if you were planning on going to any shows, anyone who's watching, you can go on that Big Cartel, order something, support the band directly. Or if you don't do that, Bridge 9, I don't know if anyone heard this, but Bridge 9 just recently, they might be facing getting kicked out of their building. That's our record company. So if you're if you're not gonna order anything from, if you're gonna order anything from us, go with the Bridge 9 page. They've got more at stake going on right now. So give them as much business as you can, because without them, we don't put on any records.
Yeah, dude, it's like, I mean, they're like my favorite label too. Like, just just so many killer bands that they've had signed on there, and just a lot of just fantastic records. And I'm actually like, because they've been doing that big mystery box thing for, it's like $100, and then you get like a test press and like some other stuff. And like, dude, it's so tempting, but it's like I can't really drop like $100 right now. But they still have like, I mean, you don't even do that. Like, you can just buy a shirt, buy a record in general, and like. And any little bit helps. So,
for sure, that's the bottom line, exactly. But that's the tough thing is you can ask people to support, and but then the buyers are in just as much trouble as anybody. So no one's going out there like spending a bunch of money on records right now, or even if shows were happening, it's just crazy,
Yeah,
it's such a shit show.
Yep.
Bummer talk.
Are you guys, just kind of like go with the times or deal with the times, I guess? Have you guys thought about doing like some sort of like live stream show kind of thing? Like, just like we're gonna do like a full set, like you can catch us here on YouTube or Twitch or whatever.
Yeah, we've thought about it. We've got a couple ideas. I don't know what I'm at liberty to talk about right now, but keep on the lookout, because I think we're talking to a few different bands about what we could possibly do in that realm, and try to do something in that area. We like to, we want to do whatever we can right now, like we just, there's only so much you can do, but that's definitely a good outlet. I mean, there's a lot of bands that are doing that and that are killing it doing it, we want to make whatever we do in that, worth watching. We just got to find our angle that makes it more than just a band on a live stream.
Yeah. Any other or any last big like future plans you can share, or
other than, I mean, our plans are essentially whenever we can tour again, we just want to get right back out on the gate, or right out of the gate, just going for it. So be on the lookout whenever, it's tough, because I know that's what everyone wants to do, and not everyone's going to get booked all at once, but it's either that, or maybe we'll put out a video or something like that. We've got little plans here and there. We just really got to get together, buckle down, and just make a solid plan on what to do. It's just a lot of ideas flying around in our heads right now, but we all generally agree on what moves we should take. But be on the lookout. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and like I said, in the meantime, check out their latest record, Unfinished Business, on Spotify, all your services. Check out the band. Yeah, they're killer. Always putting out great tunes. Looking forward to seeing the next material you guys put out.
Thanks, man. Hope it lives up.
Hell yeah. So, outside of the band, another reason why I wanted to bring you on, because you're probably like one of the most like knowledgeable like Star Wars friends that I have, like one of the biggest like Star Wars fans in general.
Nerd, you can say it.
But still, this was I guess this would be I want to do this as like a fun topic that get the chat involved, like we could figure out, because you have your opinions about the series. We all have our our preferences with the series, but
and I'm thoroughly ready to piss somebody off.
But what's what got you into the series? Why is it like so impactful for you?
I mean, my first being aware of Star Wars at all was probably Shadows of the Empire. I'd hear people talk about on the schoolyard, about Luke Skywalker, or like, this is my lightsaber, and they'd hold a stick, and I'd be like, I don't know what a lightsaber is, but okay,
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when Shadows of the Empire came out, or like a year later or so, was the year I got an N64, and that was the first game I got with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I distinctly remember my dad playing it all night in front of my brother and I, and then when it was too late and we had to go to bed, oh, sorry guys, oops. So
you just got too hooked.
That was a great memory. I don't blame him. I'll probably do the same thing if I ever have kids. But no, from then on, not long after that was the
prequels, right?
Special edition.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, we missed the first two, but I saw Return of the Jedi in theaters, and that was like just blew me away. I'd never really I liked movies as much as the next kid, but that one, it was like, yeah, a whole nother world. It really just sucked me in big time. I had to see the rest,
Yeah, I really wish that I could have seen like those special editions on the big screen when they put them out. Like,
right.
I could only imagine being your age when you were a kid, and then
right,
like experiencing that on the big screen. Like, it was so cool.
It was wild, man. I remember, I was like, it's funny knowing that I play in a hardcore band now, and my ears are shot because I'm sat in front of a monitor for hours at a time or whatever, but loud noises when I was a kid just used to scare me. I used to be totally, like gun shy from loud noises. And I remember the ad for Return of the Jedi Special Edition had the Jabba's Palace band, like the CGI alien.
Oh, the dancing and singing.
Up to the screen. Yeah, and you can like see his tonsils.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking that's gonna be loud, and I was like, "We're going to see this movie." I'm like, "Oh shit, it's gonna be loud." Just like waiting for that moment to happen. I'm like, "Oh god, here it comes." but no, I mean, I lived through it, and then the rest of the movie it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
What do you think? What makes that series like so iconic for folks, or just makes it so iconic in general? Like,
I mean, for me, I'd say. I mean, I'd say what really made me pay attention to it more, because I'm not a big franchise guy. Like, I like the Bond movies, but I only really got into them in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm not a big Marvel guy. Like, I liked Batman growing up, but Star Wars always stood out to me because it looked like if something sci-fi were to happen, that would be the closest to real. With the way that everything looked lived in. Even the Millennium Falcon, which is the fastest ship, and all this stuff. It still had blaster marks. It looked like it had been a few places. It wasn't like super neat chrome, and it wasn't like every other futuristic or like science fiction thing you'd see. So I guess that's what made it stand out to me more. I mean, there's you could look at the story elements that are as old as time in those movies. The original three, like, that's the oldest example of a hero's journey. So I guess that story would resonate with anybody, or most people in general. But no, I think the combination of just it's a spectacle, but it feels real, and then it's just a timeless story. I think that's what makes it stand out to people, and what makes it so it really means something to people.
And it's really like insane, like just the magic that George did, like, at the time, like what he did for special effects, and all the miniatures that he did for all those, and you don't see that today. Like, it's all just digital. I mean, he ended up being like that next pioneer for digital in movies.
Absolutely.
Which, like, which was really divisive for a lot of people, but I don't know.
It shaped how everything is done nowadays. Absolutely. I mean, you can look back and there's some stuff that aged better than others in the prequels, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, no one else was trying that. Someone had to be first, and, it makes sense that George wanted to be the first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what in general would you say, like, what would make it, like, what makes it so divisive for people in that sense? Like, would you say just, like, the way that he handled the prequels, and in turn, like, how it was handled, like, since, basically?
Right. I mean, I think people latch on to the tradition of, I mean, when you have, especially like when you have the trilogy, and it is, so I mean, even when Return of the Jedi came out, there's people that were talking about, well, this just ruined the whole thing with Ewoks, but someone of my age, which, I mean, I was 7 when Phantom Menace came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was young enough to be a child of the prequels, but at the same time, at that point, I knew the original trilogy was, I was hooked on that, and
Mm-hmm.
I was excited for Phantom Menace because I loved the original trilogy so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess people get upset because of the traditions that they see built into, whatever came before. Like, this is the way it should go. This
Mm-hmm.
is and it's hard to argue with a lot of it. I mean, I've got my own opinions on certain things that the prequels did and certain things that the sequels did. But at the end of the day, I look at it and I'm like, the kids that are growing up with it the way I grew up with, the original trilogy being what inspired me. There's going to be kids that grow up with the prequels that are already grown up, and they're defending them, and those are taking on a whole new fan base and life of their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether we want to admit it or not, it's going to happen with the sequel trilogy. There's
Mm-hmm.
going to be kids that are going to be like, well, you're missing the whole point of Rey's journey, and you're missing all this about Finn and all, like, it's gonna happen, and people better be just, they got to be ready for that that argument to come.
As you said, I still hate sand, though. Classic.
That's a fact.
I think that is kind of funny that you mentioned that, though, because like like once the sequels came out and once they were all done, now it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
all these like apologists just started coming out of the woodwork for the prequels after like they were just
Right.
like shit talking like how like those movies like Up a Storm,
Yeah, the hidden genius of the prequels, and how they were actually even better than the original trilogy, and like, it's all this stuff that's just like, I mean, I definitely find myself nowadays, like, if I want to watch a Star Wars movie, I'll be more likely to watch, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I'll probably be more likely to watch Revenge of the Sith than A New Hope. I don't know bring on whatever you got to say about that, but like, there's just certain elements that the more things stick with you and the more you get used to them, they're going to become part of Star Wars. Like, the new trilogy is it's new, so it's not part of, original fans of the original trilogy have had 40 plus years to be, accustomed to and learn every line of these movies, and so the things that stick out are going to stick out. There's obvious things that about the sequel trilogy that rub me the wrong way, that like they're, I think, kind of inarguable as far as like what act like quality, but at the end of the day, it's people were also dragging the original trilogy back in the day. Like, there were critics that would do that, who just didn't. I think its fate will essentially be decided by the youth, the people who grow up with it. That's how it's going to be.
So thank you for the host, buddy. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, I think that like nostalgia is a huge part of this too, like especially with like the original. So I find it interesting, like for like a lot of people that like didn't watch those original movies initially, and then like go back to it now, and like it might, like, I mean, Edry in the chat, he's an example, like, because he didn't grow up with it, and then he just kind of watched it, and like it didn't really have as much of an impact on him as it did to us, and
it happens, man. Absolutely.
And what were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, there's examples of, like Everyone talks to me about the Goonies. I've still never seen the Goonies. Honestly, I know it. I know references from it, but I've never seen the Goonies. And I mean, when I see it, I'm sure whoever I watch it with will be looking at me like this the whole time, like waiting for me to react to their favorite part. And maybe I will. I'm sure it's awesome. I think certain things, if you don't catch it when you're young, it's not going to stick with you the same way. You know.
And for like a lot of folks that like, they started with the prequels, so in turn, like they're more nostalgic for those movies.
Right.
Then they might like agree that like the originals are good or decent or whatever, but they still like they might find like the prequels are like higher on their lists and stuff compared to the original, and
that makes sense. I mean, if that's what it goes back to is like the age you are when you discover it in the context you're looking at it, and there's I find it interesting that people the way that people look at it, like if you watch, I mean, if you grew up with the original trilogy, like there were certain twists that came about from the prequels, like I was young, but I still knew the original trilogy obviously, but like I remember being surprised that the Chancellor was the Emperor. I remember that was like a twist when I was young, But if you saw the the prequels first, you'd be shocked at, I don't know, some other reveal. Like I'm blanking out right now, but there's other reveals that wouldn't be a reveal to a child of the original trilogy. I think that's a cool. Whether it was intended or not, I like to think it's intended, but who knows? Like I think either way, George had a really I think he crafted them the way they're remembered is probably how he wanted them to be, and probably how he meant for them to be looked at.
Deadpan mentions that the prequels did one thing right. It's the deconstructions of the Chosen One archetype to come out of Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like definitely one of the brights, especially in like Revenge of the Sith. Like, I mean, that's by far like the best of the prequels. Just seeing like all the chaos like happening at once. I mean, I guess that's like one of the takeaways from that movie too. Like when the big event happens, and then like I don't know. I guess you don't really expect it to go down like that, but right. I don't know. Like as much as I like don't care for like episode 1, episode 2, especially 2. Two. It's funny because like I've gone from like 1's my least favorite, now 2 is like my least favorite after rewatches, because it's more so just like George can't write dialogue. I mean, there's been so many like interviews where like Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford that they've just like made fun of. Like talk about how they made fun of George. And it was like, if you make me say this, like we're gonna make you like eat this script kind of thing. Like we're gonna force you to like say these lines. Like
right, like what did Harrison say? Like, you can write this shit, but you can't say it or something. Like, and I mean, there's the thing with the original show. At least, I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything new. This is obviously like people have said this before, but I think what it is with the original trilogy, like he wasn't a like tested like legend in the industry at the point, so he had more people who were willing to tell him no and tell him that's not going to work. All right, say it another way, have someone else write this part of the script or something, or this will work better than whatever you have written. By the time the prequels rolled around, he was George Lucas. So you have he's not only were people probably less willing to correct anything or try to correct anything, but he was also less willing to let people. In which, I mean, if the holiday special is any consolation to that, I mean, probably a wise choice. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to take creative criticism, constructive criticism.
I actually want to bring that up, Edry, that you mentioned that. I'm sure you saw the news of Daisy Ridley's recent interview.
See, dude, I've been trying to catch up on things because I've been out of the loop in some ways. I saw someone post about it. What did she say?
So basically, I mean, what I was going to mention before I brought up Edry's comment was, Lucas, at least like through the prequels, he actually like knew where the story was going. He had a roadmap. Disney didn't have a roadmap. And from Daisy Ridley's recent interview she did, she pretty much confirmed that they literally like from 7 to 8 to 9, everything was just like written on the fly basically. So like the whole reveal for her in the last movie, it switched like 3 times. Like it was supposed to be Obi-Wan's, then it was supposed to be who ended up being, then oh no, it might be Obi-Wan's again. And then she like found out like right like as they were like doing like the last like one of those like last like scenes or whatever, and it's just like this is why Filoni and Favreau need to just have full reign of everything and like take care of this, because like this is what's putting the division in the fandom.
Now granted, like I said before, there's gonna be there's like a 5-year-old that went to see The Force Awakens isn't, I mean, who knows nowadays, but like the chances are they're not looking at like, what did Kathleen Kennedy say before she fired this person off the set, you know, like we all do that because we're grown-ass men that are just like, you know, but if you grew up with that as the story, you probably find that out later, you know. And I think as much as that's pretty inexcusable with writing a story, like I'm gonna look at it a certain way, but I think if you grow up with that being the definitive story, you're gonna look at it different, you know. But no, that's so disappointing to hear.
I mean, I will say, like, I did love Force Awakens. I did love Episode 7.
Yeah,
but
I did too,
and then because I remember I had like after we saw Episode 8, or like because I called you and I was like, so what do you think? Like, just like. I just like didn't know. It was like another one of those like prequel situations where it's like I don't know what to think. Like
it was. I remember distinctly feeling like, I try to like what I like. There's things I do like from Last Jedi, you know, things that I honestly wouldn't change. But I just remember a lot of the time feeling like, wait a minute, how much more to this movie do they have? I was like, they're keeping going with all this stuff that just feels out of place and just feels like, I was like, there's got to be more movie to make up for this, you know, and it just kept getting later into the movie that I'm feeling this way. And then I liked how they ended it, so I was like, I think I liked it, but like, I'm like, I just like, well, yeah, I liked it. I mean, yeah, I'll see it again tomorrow night, and then, you know, I'll feel even better about it because I'll know what to expect going in.
Yeah. And
I mean, I defended it for a while. There's still stuff I will defend about that movie, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not doing a rewatch before Rise of Skywalker came out. I was not stoked about watching that one. I did not.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a tough.
I feel like, you know, especially after Last Jedi, like, I think that really just like screwed up everything, because like they should have just had Abrams do all 3, because he had somewhat of a vision at least, because like in the way that he like set everything up with 7, it was like, all right, well, I mean, we have all these questions now, but at least, like, you know, because they're just teasing things with like a lot of these characters, and then Rian Johnson took over, and it's just like, well, screw those ideas, I'm doing my own thing. And then and then this last movie just felt like retconning everything, and it's just
it felt a lot like well, we gotta do what is just gonna make people happy, and and it's like, I mean, if that's what you're gonna do and that's what you realize, like, then maybe you should have did that more with The Last Jedi, you know, like maybe, but what you can't undo, unfortunately. But it's like, it's just such a bummer that it had to turn out that way, because I actually liked Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was good. I think it ended the trilogy as best as that trilogy could have ended, but at the same time, you couldn't help but like
what could have been, what could have been, you know.
Right. Well, it could have gone. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways that they painted themselves into a corner. Like, as like, all right, we both said we liked Force Awakens, right? It was a cool idea of, you know,
soft reboot.
Like, right, soft reboot, and then just making this mystery about finding Luke Skywalker, and how epic the ending was, where he's at the top of the cliff and that big helicopter shot and everything. and it ended, and you're like, fuck yeah, that was good. Hell yeah, Star Wars is back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then you think about what are the main problems people have with The Last Jedi. I mean, mostly Luke. You know, you start thinking about, all right, if all this evil is rising, what's he doing there just alone on an island? You know, like, and it's like, all right, well, like, all right, you know, my first thing was like, oh, maybe he's been like meditating there the whole time and he's coming up with the perfect plan. And then it's like, well, then why would he need to be sought out? And why, like, it's just, I like the idea that he is rejecting things, honestly, like, but it's just, they carried it on for too long where he's just being this curmudgeon and like I said, I liked that I liked how he ended up coming back and saving the day. I liked that, but it's just, I think they hammered that him just being a dick for 75% of the movie. They hammered it so much that it just
it definitely upset a lot of people with the way they handled this character.
it would have been cooler if they cut it down from like 75% of the movie, him doing that, to 25%. And we got to see a little more of the Luke that we know, you know? That's mainly my beef with that story choice. But then, you know, and it's also like, all right, when you end Force Awakens like that, how do you do anything besides pick the next movie up right afterwards? And as much as it's interesting to see what happens with Rey and Luke, it's like, you know, all right, what are Finn and Poe going to be, or the other characters doing in between? Like, you have to kind of give them a bullshit thing to do. And it's like, I get what they were doing with trying to like build their characters, like turn Poe into a real leader and, you know, embolden Finn into the Resistance and make him really there for more than just trying to hide. You know, I get it. But it felt very, very forced. I don't know, like if they could have given some time for growth in between, you know, and put a couple years between each movie, I think they could have done a lot more. But this is coming from the guy who who changes tires in between playing drums. You know, I've never written a story in my life, so. But you know, just as an observer, you know,
it's the franchise that like everyone will just nitpick to death, you know, and
that's the other thing, and that goes back to the whole tradition, like, you know, and the whole everyone is, you know, like everyone's got their idea of what this should be, and now granted there were some things that the sequel trilogy should have been that it wasn't, you know, but at the end of the day, they're not gonna redo it. I see all these rumor pages where they're like,
I've seen that too.
Remake the sequel trilogy, and it's like, yeah, okay, sure.
They're actually under
millions.
Actually, under like George's, like they're actually gonna use like George's ideas this time or something like that.
I hate to break it to you, but I heard his ideas and they did not sound good.
Oh, he posted it's online for like what he.
I've heard. I mean, I guess I've heard rumors. I mean, I don't know. Like, who knows what? But it's. I just hear like, well, my idea is we're going to go into the microscopic level of the Force and midichlorians. Like, and it just sounds like. I mean, maybe that's not what his idea would have been. Maybe he's just saying that to, you know, he likes to fuck with people.
Yeah.
You know, he likes to just like.
Why do you think he kept putting Jar Jar in those movies? He didn't care. He had him just stare like just straight up look in the camera. And like smile, like I'm not going anywhere, motherfucker. Like
I love him for doing that. Like as much as like I went through my time where like, oh, Georgia sucks, you know. Like,
yeah.
As much as I went through my time with that, I'm like, I think it's so awesome that he just didn't give a shit, and he's like, yeah, guess what? He's gonna look you dead in the eyes. George Lucas, ultimate Chad.
Yep.
The Chad of Hollywood.
Deadpan did bring up, at least we can agree the Mandalorian is good. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
I loved Mandalorian, and
that's the best thing that Disney's done, for sure.
That and then like this last season of Clone Wars, like, well, mostly that last like big arc in there was like one of the best like things they've ever like put out.
Yeah, Clone Wars took me a while to get into when it first came out, I was not really paying attention to Star Wars. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the prequels rubbed me the wrong way, and I just was focusing on. We were going to see shows, and that was, in as much that was all I was focusing on at that when Clone Wars was starting out. Like, so it took me a couple years to actually acknowledge that it was anything more than just like a kid's cartoon. So, but when I finally did, there was definitely a lot of stuff throughout that series that was really well told stories, and they it sucks they shut it down, but I'm glad they gave it a chance to actually end the series, and they ended it on a really strong note, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like, it was just, so cool, like the last like big fight in there. I mean, the series established like really beloved characters that we're gonna end up seeing in Mandalorian now, so that's exciting.
Well, right, yeah, with that, Ahsoka's gonna be in there. I think I don't know if it was just a rumor or anything was confirmed, but I feel like Rex might be in there at some point.
That'd be cool.
It might have been just a rumor, but I mean, I'd imagine that, like, they confirmed that he's at in Return of the Jedi. You see that?
No.
In Return on Endor, there's a commando with a white beard, and like, obviously this was 1983, so they didn't know what the fuck Rex was, but they said, like, or Filoni was like, he always said for a while, like, well, I kind of like to believe that that's Rex, but then they somehow made it canon, like at the end of Rebels or something like that, they had him dressed like that, and like, so they kind of like made that canon that he was there. But so that, if he was there, Mandalorian is only 5 years later or so, I'd imagine it would be, that would be, you'd be in there at some point. Yeah.
Well, actually, once I finished Clone Wars, like that last season, then I went right into Rebels because I never watched that. And I mean, that first season was kind of tough to sit through, but then like once you got like,
it got better.
Yeah, it got way better, especially when it got you got like a lot of the bigger characters in there, and
all the stuff with Vader was great, and Maul coming back, and the Thrawn stuff was all right. Like, I was never like, I've read the Thrawn trilogy, but I was never one of these like, that's the way it should go. Like, I was never one of those. I thought it was good. But I was never like a diehard for it, so I didn't have high hopes for Thrawn anyways. But it seemed like what they did was all right with him. I haven't heard anyone complain about it.
Yeah, that's why I really wish that like Filoni and Favreau, like, they did such an amazing job between like all those series that you just have them like full creative, like write all the stories like going forward, because like they're super passionate. Like Filoni like worked with Lucas like during all that, so like he knows like everything. And
he like was trained by him to basically like take up the seat, and it's tough. I mean, like, the dude is also, he's very fresh on working with live action content, which, I mean, he did a great job directing those episodes in Mandalorian, but as much you can direct and do stuff like that for animated series, but it's definitely something you got to get used to, I'd imagine, to do live action and writing something on a bigger scale, But then again, I mean, if you can make a series like the Clone Wars into something that me pushing 30 can watch and not feel like a man-child, then then I guess you've got to be doing something right.
Yeah, for sure. And out of everything that we've been getting, like, it seems like that they keep pulling some like expanding the universe stuff like here and there, and like slowly like adding to the canon. Are there any like stories that you really would like love to see them do, like you mentioned Shadow of the Empire, and like some of those like games, or like what's is there like a main story you like really want to see?
I mean, I think the main story of Shadows of the Empire is out. I think they've filled in some of the in between Empire and in Jedi timeline with a comic or something. But I mean, they actually did confirm Dash Rendar in one of the Solo books. I guess when Solo was coming out, they did novels, and they mentioned him briefly, and I was just like, they better do something with that. And the Outrider is canon. It was in the special edition. That's been canon for a while, but no, I mean, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I wanted to see Thrawn become canon, and he became, it's tough. I feel like a lot of the stories that I like have already been kind of pasted over with whatever they wanted to do. You know, it's tough. I understand. It sucks to see, but I understand it. Like, you want as much content that people don't know the ending to as possible. You know, and I get that, but it sucks because there's a lot of stuff that was really good that just seems to be getting pasted over.
Yeah, one that I really want to see is Force Unleashed. Like, I loved that story. Really fun game on PS3 360.
Yep.
Just like Vader getting a secret apprentice and trying to like overthrow the Emperor, and then, but I guess like I don't know if the reason was because he was like too OP or something, Starkiller character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really want to see that canonized, and I guess Fallen Order is canon. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, the new one that came out, right?
Yeah.
That definitely is. That was, I think all the stuff they're putting out from now on is canon. But no, that was, I mean, I feel like if you couldn't get another Force Unleashed game, like Fallen Order was definitely the best thing you were gonna get. That was, I had a fun time playing that one. I only played it through once, but I you know me, I'm picky with what I buy as far as games, and what I spend time gaming on. But that was the one for a while. I was like, I was pretty hooked on that one. That was good. But no, Force Unleashed was good. That one I played through a couple of times years ago, and just like a crazy, weird, like alternate universe story, But there was so many stories back then. It's hard because if you pick one, it's like then someone's gonna be upset that you didn't grab the other one from that same time era that got I was trying to play through Knights of the Old Republic the other day, not too long ago, and I was just like, I'm bad at RPGs anyways, so I have like low patience for them. But it's still like I love the timeline in that era. I'd like to see them do. I guess they're doing something with the High Republic, or there's like some images of like a younger Yoda that came out. I have yet to see them, but I've been hearing about it, and like I'm interested to see what they do with all this stuff, man. Like you'd think with Disney Plus they have just unlimited what they can do, but I guess there's only so much resources you can put to that stuff. And I mean, Mandalorian season 2 is coming out next month, right? October.
Yeah. It's like end of the month, and it just going through like the end of the year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man.
Dude, I got high hopes for that. That first season like really got me stoked. So I'm hoping that the next season's I hope it's great, and B, I hope it's a little longer.
Yeah.
I could use more than like 8 or 9 episodes.
Yeah, like after my like fairly like disappointment with the sequels, like that was like a breath of fresh air that like really like got me excited for the franchise again. And
for sure, same here.
And
hell yeah,
I guess for like one last thing to touch on Star Wars, so it's not just an entire Star Wars discussion, but I don't know if you could if you had to like rank all the movies, I guess, where would you put them?
Okay, I'm just gonna go.
Just like off the top of your head.
Attack of the Clones right at the bottom. Sorry. Shit. I can't even. Let's see. I'd say Last Jedi after Attack of the Clones. Fucking.
Rise of Skywalker.
Right, I liked Rise of Skywalker better. Yeah, probably Rise of Skywalker, and then
Phantom Menace, probably.
Phantom Menace, yeah. But I'd say Phantom Menace only. I only like that one more than Rise of Skywalker because of the memories. I remember, having like so much Phantom Menace stuff, being so hyped for that movie to come out, like. Every action figure I could get, I had school folders, and I was stoked on that movie coming out, and I loved it until I got a little older, and then I just kind of was not as stoked on it, but I'm more willing to put that one on than Rise of Skywalker, I think. Then I'd say, did I get all then Revenge of the Sith over Phantom Menace, obviously. probably Force Awakens over that. A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. And the only reason I put Jedi over Empire is because that Jedi was the first one I saw, and I just I always
the
think
most
back
nostalgic
to
for it. Yeah.
yeah. I loved everything at at Jabba's palace. I thought that was always the coolest scene.
Yeah.
It was just as cool as the cantina was. It just looked way more of just like a badass spot to be. All the like little shots of like just Boba Fett hanging out in the corner and like talking to bitches. Wild.
That's funny.
Alien women. God.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's my rank right there.
Cool. I've actually revised my list a little bit. From when I saw the last movie, I actually had it a little higher, and then like after rewatch, I'm like, it's like kind of near the bottom for me now. So mine goes. Actually, like rewatching like some of the movies, I kind of like had to really think about those like bottom four. But I mean, Attack of the Clones very bottom for me too. Then I would put Rise of Skywalker. Then I would put Last Jedi. Then Phantom Menace. Funny enough, like, because Phantom Menace Phantom Menace was very bottom for me, and like over time, I don't know. There's like I don't know, so many like there's annoyances with it. It's boring a lot, but just like the whole mall scene, the John Williams score.
Dude, the pod race was sick.
Pod race, yeah. Like there are definitely a lot of cool moments in that, even like despite like
for sure
grievances, but I have that.
I like Qui-Gon Jinn. I think he was a great character.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like I thought he was interesting. I mean, he's deadpan, and like there's a lot that, I mean, I probably find him interesting because of just being a super nerd that reads whatever I can. Oh, well, did you know that he grew up on this planet? Like, maybe that's why I find him so interesting. Like, I don't know how much it's just the movie that makes him interesting, but that's like Maul for me too. Like, is the movie the movie didn't provide too much of him that's interesting other than his look and his fighting style, but like after the Clone Wars, you look at him and you're like, oh, he's one of the best characters in Star Wars.
Yeah, they really redeemed him in a sense of like actually giving him personality and giving him some sort of better background,
right.
But yeah, so then after Phantom Menace, then Revenge of the Sith, then Return of the Jedi, then Force Awakens, then New Hope, then Empire. So
I'm more Force Awakens more than Jedi. Wow, hell yeah.
I don't know, it's tough. It's like really like I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tight one. Yeah, I hear you.
Because I think that Jedi, like that's like Luke's my favorite character, but I think him in Jedi is like him at like his most badass.
Dude,
him with like the black garb, the green lightsaber. Like he's just like a total he gives no fucks in that movie.
I'll watch clips of that just on YouTube just because I'm bored. Just like he's the coolest. That's him at his coolest for sure. And then just the whole ending, like that, everything with the Emperor and Vader and Luke in the throne room. That whole scene, like every scene there was just. That was the perfect way you could have ended it.
It would have been
just awesome.
Because I wasn't. What brings it down is the Ewoks for me, but like literally, but it's literally like everything else in that movie that like I love like so much. But yeah, if like they cut that out, like dude, that'd be like the top of my list. Like
that's and even like I mean, I'll always say like I'll be in for it. I'll be all stoked, watch the whole thing. Like totally wrapped up in it, and then as soon as they get to Endor, I'm like I start to zone out. I'm like, oh boy. even before the Ewoks arrive, just when like. The speeder bike chase is great, but I feel like I've seen it so many times that I know where everyone's gonna end up, so I'm just like, okay, But then when you're like, oh, where's Leia? I thought she was with you. Oh, you must have got separated. I'm like, oh, okay, this is where I tap. I'll wait for Luke to show like be in the elevator with Vader before I start paying attention again. Okay,
but. Yeah, and another thing I wanted to bring up to you as like the last like kind of wrapping things up a little bit. Last topic in general. I mean, we're on Twitch, like a good majority of folks do gaming on here. You know what? But what games did you grow up with? Because you mentioned Shadow of the Empire. Before this, I brought up if you picked up that new Tony Hawk game. Like, so you obviously grew up with those games and some of the skating games. But,
every one of them.
But yeah, what else did you grow up with?
All right. Well, okay. I'm gonna give you a like a breakdown of my gaming history here. Okay. I was always a little late to the table on every console. You know, so I got like maybe 2 years after N64 came out is when I got that, and I got Shadows of the Empire, and that was all I played. And then shortly after, Cruis'n USA was one, you know, that we just would play all the time. Super Mario 64, hell yeah, I would play. You actually beat that one for me, I remember.
Yep, I remember that too.
Probably 10 years after I got the game too. We were still just like I think you're just like, dude, you never beat this? You never got the last star?
Like, I think I'd literally just like come over and like play like 5 levels, but like in between us like doing like multiplayer or something.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, N64 was a huge part of my whole, you know, gaming life, you know, like Star Fox. I would come home from school and just beat Star Fox 64 and just like go through I'm going to take this route this time, you know, that and like Smash Brothers 64 I'd play all the time. God, I mean, I played Rogue Squadron. That was another great Star Wars game. One of my favorites still.
That was GameCube, I think.
That was 64.
Oh, okay.
They had another. They had I can't remember if it was called Rogue Squadron 2 or like Rogue Leader or something. But they had a GameCube version. Yeah. I think 2 and 3 were on 2 and 3 were on GameCube. That was another one I got a little later. It was later than it came out. Was GameCube and. That was when I started. Let's take it back on N64 again, and going back to the Tony Hawk games. That was another I think 1 through 3 I had on N64 and just played nonstop. For a short while, I had a PS1 and I bought Tony Hawk 4 for that. And in GameCube, I just took from like Underground to American Wasteland, and just those. I just played the shit out of those. Those games were, up until Skate. When EA Skate came out, that changed everything for a while. But the new one that just came out, the new Tony Hawk game, I gotta say, it's fun to relive the nostalgia of it. But it's the way they've done the physics and everything. It feels satisfying, to play it. Like as satisfying as Skate is, it kind of gives you that same, the same vibe. Obviously, very
as Skate, really.
I mean,
but I was gonna say Tony Hawk, because that's like more of like an arcadey feel, of course. But like,
but it's actually brought it down, like the way that like it's got some over the top stuff, obviously, and the controls are nothing like actually skating, but the way that it's animated, the way that like it just doesn't it feels, I don't know, it gives me a very, like, the physics aren't all that out there, and it's just I like it. I'd be more willing to play the new 1 and 2 than I would be going back to like Skate. Like when they announced EA Skate 4 coming out, I was more stoked on this one. That was the one I had more memories for, and they've kind of scaled certain things to make it a little more realistic too. That I think. I mean, I don't know. I never programmed a game before. What do I know?
Yeah, like I grew up with. I owned 2. I never played 1. Like I don't even think I even played at your house or anything. But yeah, like I love 2, and the remake looks really fun. Like I know between you, like Matt, and like a bunch of my other friends that picked it up and are just like really hooked on it, like just like reliving that nostalgia, like hearing that classic soundtrack. And
oh yeah, dude, I beat it in a night. I played the demo for like how I got it a couple weeks beforehand and everything.
Oh yeah,
I got so sick of the warehouse. I've been sick of that since like 2002.
Yeah.
That level,
It's so iconic though.
Dude, oh, it is, yeah. But like, it's so small. The level's so small, and there's only so much you can do. Like when I first got the demo, I was like, this is sick, this is awesome. And then like a week later, I'm like, I'm ready for a new fucking level.
I mean, yeah. Once you get the hang of the controls, and it's just like, where else can I go? Because isn't there like a back hangar or something in that level or something? Like with the helicopter, or am I thinking of something else? Is that
that was the first level of 2.
Okay.
But it was wicked similar. Like there's a kicker gap over the half pipe, and there's like there's like another like they both roll into there's a lot of similarities in those 2 levels.
Mm-hmm.
They look like the same level, kind of.
That's funny. So
oh yeah.
So you've been playing that a lot. Like I know you mentioned like some of the other Star Wars games. So you really loved Jedi Fallen Order. You said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one I played back last fall. When did it come out? Last October or something?
Yeah, around then.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I got it pretty soon after it came out, and spent a lot of time playing that one. But no, I liked that. Once it took me a minute to get used to the controls and everything, but once I did, it just felt super satisfying to like just beat on people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was challenging too. It was like, for someone, at least for someone that doesn't play much, it was challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the I liked how much control it gives you over like every little thing. Like you don't just go to a menu screen and now obviously this is coming from someone who's out of touch from the gaming world, but it was you had to walk up to the hollow table to choose what map you're gonna play on. Like it wasn't just like, here's the map screen, choose to go to whatever Mustafar, like. Mm-hmm. So you can. I like when they give you that control.
Yeah. It was cool, like being able to like customize your lightsaber, like with like the materials you got and stuff, and I mean you're kind of limited on colors at first, but
but you can
eventually it expands, and I had to start with the green saber. That was like because I love the like Luke's one from Return of the Jedi, and
yeah.
Then ended up making a purple one after. So.
I think it did the same thing.
Yeah, that game was just absolutely killer, and dude, that ending was. I mean, I won't say anything to anyone that hasn't played it yet, but dude, that ending was freaking wild.
Dude, for real, yeah. I think it was. I probably watched your recap video when you played through the ending, because I think I already beaten it, and you were texting me about it, like, dude, what's and I'm like, just you wait, bro. Just wait.
Just like mind blown. Like, that was like such a cool moment. That's. Dude, I'll leave it at that.
I mean, this is obviously unrelated to the game. They've done so much cool shit with Vader in the Star Wars realm recently. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They've like made him way more like, they've always shown like, he's always like the most terrifying guy in the galaxy, but they've really shown it with like, especially with Rogue One. Mm-hmm. The whole ending of Rogue One, I think, was the best of
the spin-offs.
Yeah, especially the movies, at least. I still like Mandalorian better than that, but like, yeah, Rogue One was dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that and then the comics too.
Yeah, they've had some good stuff too. Yeah. The ones you sent me, I loved a lot. I gotta keep moving on with those. Mm-hmm. It's another one of those things. I'm bad at keeping up with, man. I can be super out of touch sometimes.
Yeah. I remember because we used to play like the Uncharted multiplayer like all the time. Uncharted 2, like on PS3. We had our crew of like 5 or 6 people that like we just like get together and just do that. Like, because I wasn't really like big into like multiplayer in general, like especially around that time. But but I mean that was like the game that like kind of got me into like online multiplayer like in general. And that had a total blast, like playing, like, because it was in Uncharted 2. It was like team, it was like 5v5, I think, or whatever. And
it was like it was you, me, Brady, and Richie, and
then my friend Chris.
That's right. Yeah, I remember, dude. We spent so much time playing. That was definitely the most I ever played online.
Yeah.
What was the PSN was like free back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cause you just plug it in and just be like, or hook up to Wi-Fi and be like, yep, there it is. God, those are the days.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the multiplayer was fun. But I mean, just Uncharted 2 in general, like the story
Those
of that
games,
game, like that was
yeah.
those games in general were just phenomenal.
They have great stories. Yeah, I love playing through those for sure.
And Nathan Drake is like your like Indiana Jones, like
Right.
Nathan Fillion kind of character, which is
Yep. Dude, yeah.
cool.
God, I gotta play through those again. My brother's got the PS3.
Well, they're on PS4 though. Actually, I think I don't know if it's free. I don't think it's free anymore, but
yeah.
but like the collection of like 1 through 3, you can get on there for like super cheap.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got 4 for PS4, but I have to revisit the old ones. I've got the rest of them. My brother's got all my PS3 stuff.
Yeah. Any other games you've been playing, or any coming out in the near future that you're looking forward to?
I mean, I'll probably pick up EA Skate 4, when it comes out. But is there another there might be another Star Wars game coming out that I'm trying to
Well, it's that what's it called?
Rogue Squadron type game.
Yeah, yeah, you're like in the ship and
right, I'm forgetting the name of it. This is
no, if anyone in the chat knows that upcoming it has like VR support, I think, too.
Right, yeah, this is now keep in mind, guys, this is B-Kopps's this is his most knowledgeable Star Wars fan right here. What's the name of the game? What was it?
But I mean, you said you were, I don't know, like, because you game, but you're not like, like you don't play like a lot of them, admittedly,
right, but that one I saw that. I mean, I'm likely to buy whatever Star Wars game they put out. I'm gonna end up buying. Like the I play both Battlefronts. I've spent a lot of time playing online, but the first new Battlefront, Battlefront 2, I played for a bit. I played through the story and everything. I didn't play online all that much, but it was pretty good. It was all right.
It's just called Squadrons, by the way. That's the
Squadrons. Okay, yeah. No, that one looks dope. So you sent me the trailer for that. Yeah, that looks sick. Yep. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all the other, just for games in general, just skating that. Cool.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, you know me. I'm like, I have a hard time keeping up sometimes.
No, all good, man. All good. But yeah, I think that's actually gonna do it for me for stuff that I had lined up for you, man. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you again for coming on here. I really appreciate the conversation. Of course, it's good catching up with you.
Dude, absolutely.
For anyone in the chat, because usually we'll leave it open for anyone at the end if there's any questions you got for Ben, whether it's a question about the band or just anything in general that you like to ask him before we wrap this up here.
Bring him on.
And feel free. Otherwise, if not, then we'll wrap this up and we'll throw a raid ski at somebody. Hey Bear, how you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate you hanging. Of course, Trav and Edry, Jordan B, Deadpan, all you guys. Highlash was in here. Skyline, of course. General mental question: What's your favorite thrash band? That's a good question.
Oh man, I'd probably say Suicidal Tendencies. I'm not super well versed in thrash, but I'd say Suicidal Tendencies. I mean, Pledge of Allegiance is like or join the army. That's the second one, right? The one with the giant hairy dude pointing at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most knowledgeable of a thrash record that I am, and I'd say that's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
That whole record is dope. I used to fucking just blast that in my car, wherever, like, dude, that was like from beginning to end. That record was just insane.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it's either Rain in Blood, and then probably like Ride the Lightning, if that counts.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's if Metallica.
Does Metallica count under thrash, or would that just be more like Slayer and?
Slayer too. I mean, I was way more into Suicidal Tendencies than Slayer and or even Metallica. I mean, I know Metallica, obviously. Like everyone knows Metallica, but Suicidal always stood out to me. They're as far as like crossover thrash bands, like they were the ones that always stood out to me because of just their whole vibe. It was so different and cool, and like you like one song could sound nothing like the next, and but it was still cool, you know.
Speaking of
that first.
what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that first record, even like, it was more just old school hardcore punk than thrash, but that was those two records, the self-titled and Join the Army, were just like, yeah, big time, big game changers for me.
Actually, speaking of thrash, one band I wanted to ask you about was Power Trip. The lead singer, unfortunately, he passed away a couple weeks ago, I think. But did you get to play with them? Did you get to like on any of your tours or?
Not on tour. I mean, we might have played a festival with them here and there, but I never met any of those guys. My heart a lot of my friends were close to him, and my heart goes out to anyone who was really close with Riley. Rest in peace. But I think we might have been on. We might have played a fest with them at some point, but like I said, unfortunately, I never got to meet Riley or any of the guys in Power Trip. But you know I've seen them, and they put on just a crazy show. That band was great. Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're absolutely killer, man, and yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
That's
another huge loss.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions or anyone in the chat? Otherwise, we'll end this. We'll throw a raid ski at somebody. We'll see who's on.
Edry, do you have a question?
Yeah, no worries in that. But regardless, yeah, like I said, thanks again so much, buddy.
Yeah,
it's been fun chatting with you. Been fun catching up. Hopefully, you know, we can hang out pretty soon.
Let's hope, man. I'm down. You know me.
Go Luridian. Yeah, let's raid Luridian. Let's throw it to that guy. He's a good dude. He's got the best stash on Twitch.
Oh shit.
He's playing some 10-2, Final Fantasy 10-2. Hell yeah. All right. But yeah, thanks again everybody for hanging out. Like I said, we'll be on again Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, then we're gonna be finishing up Metroid Fusion, and then starting a new game after that. Hopefully, it won't be another like 7-hour stream, but we'll see. But regardless, yeah, of course we got Jordan on this weekend. Jay Dagner, check him out. We got BE on this weekend. Check him out as well. All the friends. Hopefully Berezovsky. Hopefully we'll get to see you on. And yeah, till next time, friends. We'll catch you later. So have a good one, everybody. See ya.
Thanks, everybody.